Yes.
I'm sure you've heard my comment last year about wanting centralized exchanges to burn in hell as much as possible.
Yeah.
I do really want decentralized exchanges to succeed and at least kind of offer enough of a level of service that tokens can exist and do well, regardless of what centralized exchanges.
So that is a very good point. I would need you to explain at what level do you consider an exchange decentralized? What it means to you to be a decentralized exchange?
Yeah.
And also, have you had any inputs from the government kind of trying to talk to you in terms of how they can go about this?
Sure. So there's different levels of decentralization, right? So the kind of lowest level you can get to is an exchange being non-custodial.
Yes.
So what that means is that it's still a centralized exchange, but it uses smart contracts in some way, possibly Plasma or something similar, to have the property that even if the exchange gets hacked or the exchange becomes malicious, you can still get your money out.
Mm-hmm.
And that's something that I think is valuable by itself, because if you look at cryptocurrency exchanges and thefts from cryptocurrency exchanges, they're big. Like Mt. Gox lost 500 million, some exchanges in Korea lost a couple hundred million over the last year, and most of those losses are cryptocurrency, right? Because if you steal fiat, it's more regulated, it's just easier to get it back and it's easier to catch people.
Yeah.
But then, so with cryptocurrency, on the one hand, it's more kind of slippery because it's less regulated in this way, but on the other hand, because it's cryptographic, you have the ability to build these tools, so you don't need to trust people to hold it for you. And so, with custodial exchanges, I do think that you can really reduce the risk of these sort of really big thefts. And I hope that we can at least kind of get to a world where if you build an exchange, you just build it that way by default, because you're just scared of your other people wanting your head cut off if you get hacked.
Yeah.
If you get to the point where the default is that you want to make things trustless, then that would be a big step. So that's the first level, right? The second level is if you want an exchange where you don't rely on a central party, even for even to kind of exist and be online, right? So then there's kind of different levels of that. So one of them is this kind of relayer approach that I think 0x and some others are taking, where it's still kind of trustless, you have relayers, but then it's kind of federated, you try to make an open market of them. And then the approach that's way at the top is kind of completely sort of not central party dependent. And especially the highest of the peak is if the whole thing is just a smart contract, right? So the reason I really like Uniswap and I keep kind of pumping Uniswap everywhere I go is because, first of all, it really is completely decentralized in that way. It just is a contract, and you can just go and use it, and it's there, and nothing can take it away. But also, despite that, it manages to be extremely easy to use. It's probably 10 to 100 times easier to use than other exchanges, because you just go to a website, log in with MetaMask, click, and you're done. And
right.
I'm really happy that we have that within at least the Ethereum blockchain itself. But I think now the challenge is that there's more blockchains popping up, and so it would be nice if we could have high quality, more decentralized exchanges that can handle multiple blockchains.
Yeah.
And I think we're not quite there yet, but